home, they'd still have to go win it in Dallas or in a Game 7. And I just think that right now, the Dallas Mavericks are in this. If you look at what happened in Game 4, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was incredible, wonderful, pulled all the right strings down the stretch. He was dominant when he needed to be, passed to teammates when he needed to. And still, with that, if the Mavericks had made their free throws, they would have won. In the second half, the Mavs shot 9 for 19 from the line. That's 47%. If that was just up to 12 for 19, which is still not great, by the way, they would have won the game. They only lost by 4 points. So it's just one of those things where we saw Oklahoma play a great second half and particularly a great fourth quarter.
They did.
And Dallas still really lost that game more than the Thunder won it. So to me, this is still a very even series. Right. Oklahoma City could certainly win Game 5, but it will only be Game 5, and then they still have to win another one after that.
Just a quick point of order. The Mavericks were poor at the free throw line all year long.
Yes.
They finished 27th, and going into the playoffs, they were by far the worst shooting free throw team entering the playoffs, but they weren't that bad. That was bad.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I love when people say that somebody lost the game versus somebody winning the game. The OKC Thunder put the Mavs in position to lose the game.
That's true.
And so when you look at the way the stars play, Luka, Kyrie, they didn't do anything worth the price of admission as far as you thought they were, right? You thought, oh, my God, Luka's going to be this. It didn't happen that way. But when you got Lou Dort all over him, pressuring him, making him to a point what I would consider quitting because he just gave up a few times on moving around.
I think that's fair.
That's the way I look at it. It's like, okay, yeah, he just made him shut it down a little bit. I look at that and I say, well, okay, that factors into the game plan of coaching. You say, well, okay, well, they went to the line. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but whatever it was, they went to the line a bunch and they missed a bunch. That's because you miss free throws. We're not afraid to be aggressive and put you at the line. Because you don't make them. Luka had an opportunity to dead even tie the score up with 10 seconds to go in the game. He missed one of them. And so that's all about OKC. Well, it was a phantom foul to begin with. He probably shouldn't have got the foul.
Shouldn't have gotten it.
He slipped.
And then he
they
flopped.
touched him, and then he fell on the ground. I just look at what OKC has been able to do from a defensive standpoint to understand if we take the ball out of his hands and we don't let him get hot, we'll have every opportunity. If our main guy scores the way he was scoring. Plus, everybody chipped in and added something to the party, especially in the fourth quarter. They never, Game 3 got out of hand. They never let Game 4 get out of hand. They kept it nice and tight and close, and to the point where the last few minutes of the game, it could go either way. But they made their shots in the end where Dallas didn't. Kyrie shot the basketball, didn't really defer as much as you would have liked probably to give it to Luka in certain situations. It didn't go down. I think that, much like you, Rachel, I think it goes 7. I think that they get this game at home because they feel good about the last game. They're at home crowd and all that. Then they go back to Dallas, they lose, they go home and close it out.
Okay, so you got Thunder in 7. You still sticking Mavs?
Sure, but it's a toss. I mean, I think this series is a bit of a toss-up, but yes, I think in the end, the experience is what's going to make the decision for me. If the Thunder win, I will certainly understand why and accept that. And defensively, look, it was great defense all season.
So I would caution our viewers to listen to him and listen to her because I'm not objective about this. I'm disqualified. I just tune me out. I love this team, and the more I watch this team, the more I love this team. And I am from Oklahoma City, born and raised. I still can't believe we even have a professional basketball team. We stole it from Seattle. I got it, but we do have one. And I like this team so much more than the 2012 Thunder, the baby Thunder, KD and Westbrook and James Harden. This team is more fun to root for because that team you could see had, I didn't think they'd have 3 MVPs on that team, but Westbrook and KD were already clashing. Your turn, my turn. There's none of that going on here. It's Shai, who I think should have been the MVP, and I thought he showed it again, but I can't argue with Joker after last night. I mean, it's just hard to argue, but Shai does not have a Jamal Murray. He doesn't have a co-star, but he has a whole bunch of other players who are really good. And I think Chet is sort of lost in the shadows of Wemby because Chet is really good. And Chet really showed me some stuff the other night in the fourth quarter because he made some big shots. had a big block, made two. He swished both those free throws at the end, and he shot them like he meant them. He was not afraid of the free throw line, and those were clinching late for it. So did Shea. Went right to the line.
Knocked down the one that turned into a 2.
He
was
did.
a 3.
It was, yep. And then he made the 3 that gave them their first lead that they held on to, 89-86. I've told you all year long, I watch every game, and there's something about this team that intrigues me because this is like college cliche, college rah-rah, but Coach Dagnall said after the game the other night, the best thing we do is stay together. The best thing we do is endure. And you can say, oh, baloney, it's cliches, but it's true.
100%
That's
true.
what they do. They just hang in together because they actually like each other. And that they do their post games. They won't let a solo act go to the post game interview. It should be Shea every time. I love listening to him. I like his style. I like his off the court style. And yet he brings everybody in and they all go arm in arm and they all chime in and chip into the interview. And it's fun to watch because they all chime in and chip in when the game's on the line.
I don't know any championship team, and maybe you guys do, that has never had whatever you want to call it, team camaraderie, whatever the case is, both on the field or off. I don't know any. All championship teams.
They had it.
You always have it. You just do.
All right. So the last 3 games, my Thunder have not played the way they can play. They were not really very good the other night, and they stole the game at Dallas because they played a better fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But remember, they led the league in three-point shooting at 39% in percentage. Not Boston made more because they took more, but in percentage, they shot 39%. Over the last 3 games, they've shot 31%. Trust me, maybe it's tonight. I don't want to put any hex on them, but if they can shoot 39% tonight, they'll have a really good chance of winning at home because it's who they are and what they do. They also steal the ball at the highest rate in the league. And that manifested because Luka had 7 turnovers the other night. And Lou Dort, I don't know if he could play in the NFL or not. I know Patrick Mahomes said it. Because you know what?
He has an NFL body.
He does. In the end, this is just me. Your game is so different than this game. You got to have something different in your head and your psyche to be able to withstand the punishment your game is going to give and take, right? Okay, but Lou Dort has some NFL in him at 6'4", 225-ish.
Yeah.
And he is punishing Luka. He is making him work for every last even glimpse of an opening.
Luka's much
to shoot
bigger
the ball.
than him, too.
And Luka's much taller. He's 3 inches taller. But what they're doing, and it's pretty brilliant to me, they're just saying Kyrie's not going to beat us because they just jump on Kyrie with 2 every time he touches the ball. And Kyrie is older and wiser, and he gives up the ball willingly and quickly as he should. He's making the right play. He's making the right pass. And they're just singling Luka with Dort and saying, beat him. And Luka's having a hard time. And he's not shooting the ball well.
He got some injuries, you know.
Oh, that's what they say.
Yeah, he got a little, he's banged up, so it's tough.
Well, look,
You know, it's
tough because these are 2 of the teams playing some of the top defense in the playoffs,
Yeah.
right? The Thunder did it all season. The Mavericks have been growing toward the end of the regular season, and then have been at a fantastic defensive level through these playoffs. You know, Kyrie, we've talked about his defense. Luka everyone has bought into that team.
Yeah.
And you saw it in the first half of that game the other night, by the way, is the Dallas was smothering the Thunder. So you've got 2 teams.
They blocked a record 13 shots.
You've got
blocked shots,
2
13.
teams. Yeah, I mean, you've got 2 teams throwing the other team off its game, right?
Yeah.
And so you talk about the Thunder not shooting as many threes or making as many threes. That's because Dallas is defending that really well. You
They
talk
do.
about Kyrie Irving and Luka not scoring at the clip that they did during the regular season. This is a crazy stat. Kyrie and Luka are averaging 37 points per game combined in this series. Combined.
Which is
Well, I was going to say that
it's 22 less than they averaged during the regular season.
And by the way, Luka
Combined.
himself averaged
Yeah.
34 during the regular season.
Yeah.
That, to me, is the mind-blowing one, right?
Yeah.
Kyrie has been held to single-digit scoring only 4 times in his entire career, and 1 was where he barely played in the game.
Yeah.
Well, 2 of those have come in this series,
9
right?
and 9.
So,
Yeah.
He'll never do that again, as Paul says.
well, look, if Jason Kidd, to me, this is now on Jason Kidd, right? If Jason Kidd can figure out a way to free those guys up more, I think that they really have a chance to win this series. If he can't, and your college team stays as smothering as they are,
March
I don't think they can.
in
And I
May.
just want to say on television right now that if the Oklahoma City Thunder make the NBA Finals, we need to do Undisputed on site. I'm just going to say that.
I would like to be there.
I thought you might.
I just might be there. But I'm going to give you this. Every time I look at this box score and I look at Dallas's starting five, I'll be the first to admit, I look at this and say, wait a minute, Luka and Kyrie, and I love P.J. Washington, and Daniel Gafford is a man. He is just bringing it. And Derrick Jones Jr. can jump out of the gym. And I look at this and I say, I don't know, man. This is something. And down the stretch, I like the way Dallas played because I kept telling you, they're actually playing defense. But I still like my Thunder. But don't listen to me. Thank you.
Luka's just got to get healthy.
Wink, wink.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Maybe he gets healthy tonight.
I'm just saying.
Okay, can't wait for this. What is Rachel hearing about the Lakers?